Hello everybody! Today I have something really great to share with you. I set up a workflow that turns content brief into draft article like this one with Claude Code and thruuu. Yes, Claude Code, thruuu, content brief, draft article, a lot of information in one single sentence. Let me explain. So this is the final article and I use Claude Code and thruuu content brief to basically create it. So we will go through all the steps today. First thing I have to say, Claude Code sounds a bit for developers, but believe me, it's a powerful tool. It can be used by marketers and SEO to basically do anything. And today I will show you my workflow, how I can turn a content brief into a draft article that needs to be reviewed by a human and then that you can publish on your website. The steps are the following. First, I assume that you already have a Claude Pro account and also Claude is already installed on your computer. Claude Code is already installed. You have a thruuu account as well. Then the steps of the workflow are straightforward. First, we will install a Git repo. I created special files, Claude MD and other guidelines that can help you get started. We will install everything on our computer. We will start Claude Code. Then we will have to create our guidelines. And again, here you will see it's super simple. There is a step-by-step tutorial or workflow to set up this guideline. We will need to have a thruuu content brief. And then we will download the brief, put it in our Claude Code project and ask Claude to start the work. Claude will basically analyze the brief, extract key information, analyze some URLs, and start writing your content based on the instruction from the brief. Finally, we can review the draft and publish it. All right, so let's get started. The first thing to do is to get this repo. You can clone it, but also you can just go to this URL. And here you will see a GitHub repo with different files. I don't want to deep dive into all the detail, but what you have to understand is that Claude MD, this is the file that will give instruction to Claude how to behave. And there will be another file, guideline makers, that will help us to make our guideline. But basically you don't have to worry, you even don't need to open this file. What you can do is to clone the repo or just also download as a zip, and then you will have this zip file, put it anywhere on your computer. So here we go, I have the folder installed. You can check the README again if you want to have more explanation. The guideline maker will help us to set up our guideline. Don't touch it. The guideline example is just an example that you can have a look if you want to improve your own guideline. And the Claude MD as well, don't touch it. It's to give instruction to Claude. In the end, you will see that we will have our own guideline in this folder, but yeah, let me just go through the steps. It will be just simpler to explain. Now, what you have to do is to start Claude. And to start Claude, you can open your terminal and go to this folder. Once you are in the folder, what you can do is to call Claude by typing Claude. So yeah, you can see Claude is saying hi as well. He's a really nice guy. And now we have several options. You can create an article or create your guidelines. As it's the first time you use this project, you need to set up a guideline for your brand. But what I will do, I will move to VS Code because the interface is a bit nicer. A terminal, of course, is used to do some command line and usually used by technical people. But what is really great with Claude Code is that basically it brings a chatbot anywhere on your laptop because it's at the end just a chat, and you can ask Claude anything like you will do on the web interface. So here, as I said, I say hi, and now. So Claude is telling me again that he's my thruuu writing assistant and that he can help me turning content brief into draft article. to get started, let's do say, hi Claude. Yeah, let's be nice with Claude. I want to create a guideline. This is really the first things to do. You will have then a guideline file here in your folder. So now what's going on is that through Claude will perform a little interview. So let's answer this question. It takes about 5 minutes. I will be fast. You should take your time to really answer carefully all the questions. So first, tell me about your brand and what does it do. So here I can tell him that through is SEO and SERP analysis platform to help content marketers and so on. So I will give him that. Your brand or voice. Okay, so I will say I want to speak like this. These three. My audience, SEO and marketing people. How technical are they? I would say put a 3. You tell me, in fact, how technical are you? My writing preference, I would say I want to have a detailed blog with first person. Okay. With first person. Great. So now, do we ever use humor or sarcasm? Obviously, I use humor and sarcasm. So please add also sarcasm in the guidelines. You don't need to write all of this. Just put sarcasm and it will be fine. Any word, phrase, or expression that I don't want in my content, nope. So yeah, obviously here you put all the words that you don't want that Claude is using when it's writing. So now there is more question about AI visibility. So here it's explained about the concept, the screen ramp rule, that's the 20-30% of your article, the 20-30% of the beginning is really important. So ask us a few things. I will put B here. How we want to use H2. If you want always to basically provide an answer right after the H2, I will put B as well here. So also here it shows again, it asks us some question really to understand how at the end the content will be structured. Here we go. Now competitor awareness. If there any blog I like, so we can say here backlinko, for instance, from Brian Dean. I like that. So if you like some blog or some competitor, just name it. You can use that as well as some references. And also here I will now paste some URL from my own website. So here find your best blog. Try to also input different blog format. Yes, so now he wants to read my website. So I let him read the content to get a feeling of how to write. And you see at the end, once he has read all the different articles, he's finding stuff like you see here, personality. I often put voila in my article and I use I over a we. Now it's the opposite, but anyway. Yeah, so quite good. So yeah, now he asks me if this is feel accurate. I can say no, but I will say yes. Finally, taboo and stuff you don't want that Claude Code is using. So you can put some formatting rules and so on and so on. I will just say all good. So now he is creating this guideline MD. Really important file, this guideline MD. It will set the tone, set the style, and yeah, you should really take time to make it well. Also, once it's done, you can have a look and update it yourself. But this is really the important file that you need to have in this project. So here you can see now the document is done with all of the guidelines. And I say yes, create it, and you can see now it's created. At the end, this is really the file that is needed. If you remove it, it will ask you to recreate one again. You can create one per brand also and just switch the name because it will search for guideline.md, this exact name. Okay, now we are good to go. Your guideline is ready. I will apply to every draft now. Okay, good. So now, want to start on the brief? Yes, I want to create a brief. No, not at all. I want to create an article. So, but anyway, you got the point. He created a brief folder now, so great. And now he said, go to your thruuu brief, click download and drop the file in that folder when you're ready. Okay, great. So now let's go into thruuu. But before, just to quickly summarize what we have done. So we got the repo. So you get the structure. So Claude Code can understand what he has to do. You went in the folder. There is 2 files that is needed. Don't touch them. Claude MD and Guideline Maker. This will instruct Claude Code how to behave. We started Claude, we set up our guidelines, you do that once, and now we have to go and create a thruuu brief. So here I am, I will show you a finished brief. If you want to understand how to create content brief from scratch, I invite you to click on this link and follow the tutorial. But I assume that you already know thruuu and how the brief are structured. So here I will show you one of my last content brief. It was about SEO versus GEO. And one note, you might know that with thruuu you can create templates, brief templates that will define the layout of your brief, and you can add more or less element. Here I created a really long brief with a lot of element. You can create shorter brief. In the end, Claude Code will understand all the elements. So if something is missing, it won't tell you anything, but it knows all the elements and how to use them. For instance, write a directive. This is where you can provide additional directive for the specific article. And also, if you don't create a guideline MD, it will use the directive here to structure and to set up the tone of the content. Search intent also used by Claude. Basically, everything is used by Claude Code. So also to understand the search intent. Article summary, here it's used to define the title, the meta title and the description and the slug, and also the target word count, because this will be used by Claude Code to basically create the article. It will try to stay more or less in this number of words. The outline, the most important piece, obviously, H1, H2s, H3s will be respected. So Claude Code will never do any change. Also, what I recommend is to put some writer notes. Here you can see I put some notes. I also sometimes put like here a URL. If there is URL here in this outline, Claude as well will analyze the content of the URL. And here, for instance, I said link to it, so it will create internal link. Most frequent question here, Claude will use them not as question directly in your content, but it will try to answer these questions to some extent in your content. So also quite good indicate what kind of question must be answered. Top topics, here are the terms that you want Claude Code to use. It won't put 23 times geo, it will use information about the occurrence to just put a kind of weighting of how many times a term should be used. But you can use that really to indicate what terms to be included in your copy. SERP insight is not really used. It is information about the SERP. Top title and H1 as well. It's just to give Claude more context, but it's not used. Also here, competitor analysis, this URL are not analyzed by Claude Code, but you can also put in your own guidelines saying that you want that every single competitor from the SERP are also analyzed again. Also here there is some outlines. Also this is also analyzed by Claude Code, again to enrich its context. Related search is the same story, used by Claude Code for the context, and it will try to put also some occurrence of that in the article. Finally, there is also another block called food for thought that will automatically pull the top 3 articles and some other references. This is also read by Claude. So you can put anything here, you can put any links and Claude will read them. And here's the internal links or external links. In fact, this is the links that you want to have in your article on top. So you can put links in the outline, but as well here you can list some links, and also Claude will put them in your copy. So you see the power is really to make a really detailed content brief, because more info you got, better your final article will be. So really spend time on that, and you know that thruuu is providing all the tools to help you as well, if you go in the outline, to analyze your competitor, to generate AI outlines, to get started with a proper outline, add your own notes, find the right headings, structure a great outline, and you will get a great content. Then once you are done, you can download, you can export it as a doc. So let's export it. Let's go in my folder. I put it in brief. So here, just put it in brief, the doc from thruuu. So now the brief is in our folder, and we can get started with Claude. I go back to VS Code, and now I'm ready. Start the article. So now we found that there is an article or there is a brief in the folder. Just say yes. Sometimes Claude needs some tools. Just say yes, allow Python. Even if you don't understand what it is, just allow everything. It's fine, don't worry. So just as you can see here, it has parsed the brief, and he found that in one of the heading here, there is some bullet point, and he will treat them as H3. Why not? Sure. You can also see the to-do list of Claude, what he's doing right now, and now he's fetching all the URL that I mentioned in the food for thought. Yes, allow, yes, allow, yes, allow. This URL was basically in the outline, and I also told him, look, have a look at this URL and put some content about it. Okay, so he has done his research phase, so he's telling us what he found. Also, I also dropped an URL of a case study, and he got some insight about that. So you can see that now he did all the research, and the next step will be to draft the section, draft the article section by section. Also, one thing you can see created here a folder called draft. If you don't have a draft folder by default, yet, Claude also will take care of that. All the results will be in the draft folder. As you can see, when you do your first article, it will set up a few things like creating all the folders and as well the guideline.md. This again only done once. So now let's wait a few minutes until he's done with the article. Here we go. He will create the article now, so the article should be ready. It's here, but he's still doing some final checks. So wait until it's really done. Yeah, one of the last steps is to check against the article against your guidelines and so on to verify that everything is okay. Okay, so now it has reached the last step. You can see a final review and a checklist. So search intent, it explains why he believes that he's satisfied. He explains also where he answers the questions. Number of words. So here he was able to reduce some words. So we are more or less 10% within the target word count. The guideline as well, he tells you why he respected the guidelines, tone of voice, etc. The heading structure has been respected. The language is English. Also the AI visibility parameters also have been respected, and so on. The link has been placed. Some topics has been covered. So all good. The check is done, and finally he saves the draft here. And now we can have a look. So it's an MD file. I will make some improvement to also output other kind of format, and let me know in the comments what kind of format and what kind of improvement you would like to have. But you can just copy this content and go to a website called Markdown Live Preview. I will replace that, and now I have my article. So you can see here that is not so bad. He respected the structure, he put the case study, he spoke about it also here because I told him have a look and extract the key information. I also told him to speak about thruuu in the tools and to include other tools. And yeah, it's a bit sarcastic. Well, this was my heading, but now you see finish with no SEO is not dead. So yes, there is some points that show me that obviously he did a good job. But obviously here I did the guideline quite fast. Let me show you another article with the same brief, but with a different guideline that I generated. So here is the same brief, but slightly different guidelines. And you can see the intro is a bit different. Because yeah, in my guideline, I told him to start intro in this way. It will be obviously hard for you to judge the difference between the two articles, but believe me, this one is a bit better. And this is my point. Spend time to create a good guideline and also spend time to create a great content brief in through. Don't put only H2, H3s, also put some notes. Spend time to select some good resources. In fact, just treat Claude Code as a content writer, and then you will get a great draft. And once these drafts are done, obviously, don't publish it like this. Do a final edit by a human, add maybe additional information. So yeah, I mean, but you can see that you can really accelerate the workflow and create really quality content. So to summarize on how to write an article with Claude Code and through, first you need a Claude Pro account, Claude Code installed, and as well you need to have a through account. Install the repo. You see it's super simple. Download the repo, open the repo, start Claude inside the repo with your terminal. It's your first time, you need to create the guidelines. Then use one of your through brief with details, please put details, and drop it in the folder. Ask Claude to start working on it. Review your draft with a human, and finally you can publish it. I will drop you in the description the link to the article, also the link to the Git repo, and any other information that you need. Don't hesitate to tell me what content format you need, what improvement you would like to have. And now it's your turn. Take a through content brief and make a great draft article with Claude Code.